Hi Wagwan. So in today's video I'm going to show you guys how to use a mini skirt as a pattern guide to make a maxi skirt with slits. Alright, so I'm using this skirt that I already have to trace out the new skirt that I'm trying to make. When doing that, you always want to test the stretch of each fabric. If the stretch on the new fabric that you're working with is more, then you would add less seam allowance. In this case, the stretch is the same on both, so I'm only going to be adding about a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch seam allowance on each side. Okay, now let's talk about the waist. So the elastic band that I have in the waist is 1 inch. So I'm going to leave an extra 1 inch to fold over for the elastic, and then also another extra 1 inch or 1/2 inch for the seam allowance. So in total, I want to leave over 2 inches to double roll and fold for the waistband. Gonna go in and trace out the sides, making sure I'm leaving about a 1/4 to 1/2 inch seam allowance. Now I'm folding it in half just to make sure that both sides are proportioned when cutting it out. After cutting it out, go ahead and place the front and the back right side to right side. Using my tape measure, I'm going to go down 2 inches from the top, and then I'm going to mark out exactly where I want my slit to start. This is just depending on how high you want your slit to be. I'm going to make my marking at 17 inches. From that marking, I'm going to pin the sides together, leaving about 1/2 inch seam allowance. Continue the pinning over onto the other side. Now I'm going to take it over to the sewing machine and sew up both sides. Now, from where the sewing stops, what I'm going to do is double roll and fold that excess and then just pin it into place. Now we can go ahead and sew up the slits. Remember, we left out 2 inches for the elastic band, so I'm going to fold it 1 inch twice. And then remember, when sewing it, you want to leave a little opening on one side to insert the elastic later on. So once I've taken it off to the sewing machine and sewn that, I'm going to use my safety pin. I'm going to put that to one end of the elastic band and insert it into the opening that we left out. The elastic in, make sure to go back and sew the elastic together. Just sew it a few times so that it stays in place like this, and then close that opening. Moving on to the bottom of the skirt, I'm going to double roll and fold and pin the bottom as well so that we can hem that bottom part.